please. That way I can post it. All right.
I guess I'm gonna show this Instagram. This is steps 1 to start with. Oh, hi, I'm Lady Valka. This is gonna be a little bit about Instagram. So here's the one that I run for the Barony of the Steps. And you can see a couple of things. That's really not what I'm going to talk about today, though. So my dog's doing something. There's a couple different reasons Instagram is great. It tends to skew a little younger, and with the SCA being so visual, it helps share some of that like really pretty stuff that we do. The company who owns Facebook also owns Instagram, so they integrate really well. So if you make a business profile on Instagram, it will automatically link to the business page that you should have for your group on Facebook. And then when you post to Instagram, you can automatically have it post for you to the Facebook. So I am gonna just talk about some best practices. I kind of wanted to show you guys how to set things up, but it's really highly mobile. Like there's not a lot you can do from your desktop with it unless you pay for a content management system, which is like really high, Briar. It's a little extra for a nonprofit, so you can just post from your phone. It's fine. And I'll do my best to walk you through that without being able to show you. But basically, when you make your Instagram, with your profile picture, you want it to be like pretty indicative of who you are. So this is ours. It's just got our name and our armory on it. I know Namron's is pretty similar. I just saw theirs today, was looking at it. So yeah, just something easily identifiable, like a logo, like how when you see the Nike swoosh, you know, Nike. There's no cover photo to take care of on this one because everything else that you post is going to be a photo or a video. And then it's not unique to Instagram, but it plays a really big role in Instagram. It's going to be your hashtags down here. So when you post, this is how I post mine. Not everyone does it this way. I just like this better, and it has worked well for me. So I do my caption here, just like whatever cutesy fun thing. If there's photo credit I have to give, I'll put that right under. And then on mobile, when you're scrolling, it'll actually cut off everything below here, and you can click like see more. And so that's where I put all the hashtags so that they're not mucking up the feed. My suggestions for hashtags, you can use up to 30. I think Instagram is at right now. I don't suggest using all 30. It feels spammy. This even is more than I usually do. So pick a couple that are really related to the SCA so that people in the SCA already can find you. So that would be these ones here. And then a couple of more generic ones. So people outside the SCA who are also interested can find it. So like I always do medieval reenactment because that's probably a lot of people. You can see when you click them, it takes you to other stuff. So then there's people in the waiting room. Middle. You can see some pictures do better than others, and that's just going to depend on, you know, who your followers are. I find that action shots typically do really well. So here's Golf Wars has their own hashtag. So when you are creating an event or something like Namron Beltane or Steps Warlord, and you make your own hashtag, that'll let people share things with you without having to like email them. You can just find them on Instagram. And this is super common for stuff like Comic-Cons and football games even, is they'll have their own hashtag. So this is the one that Golf Wars uses, or that they were using up until it got canceled this year. And there's a couple different, you know, like Throwback Thursday. So you can see that one here. Flashback Friday. So if that's something you're interested in, you can just Google like Instagram hashtags for days of the week and it'll bring up a bunch and you can pick whichever one you want to do. So Beyond that, I recommend setting up a business profile, which is pretty easy. You just go into your settings and it'll give you the option, and then it'll walk you through. They're made by the same company as Facebook, so they're supposed to be pretty user-friendly. Instagram is less moderator intensive. So like you're not making groups there to like chat in, you're just giving these pictures out to the world. So this is not something that you want to put like blurry photos on. You want them to be pretty clear. If you can. I know right now content is sparse. So like, even I'm like, I don't know, clear enough, send. I was mostly gonna just open it up for questions because I don't really know what people don't know. So I wasn't sure where to start with you guys.
So yeah, I didn't even know it was just pictures. I'm not gonna lie.
You can post videos as well.
Well, pictures, videos, yeah. So how does this help as a recruitment tool, I guess would be my question. People go and see our pictures and are like, hey, that looks cool. And then how do you get them to somewhere else where we can actually like talk to them and stuff?
Sure. So just like any other social media, you get to put a bio. So here we are again. You can see in our bio, I've put our website. I think Instagram, that's actually like a separate thing that you put your website. So I put that there. Probably I should put one of our emails up here, but I haven't done so yet. And then Instagram will also let you message people. So here's a couple, mostly this is from like us interacting with other baronies, but if someone found you there, they could message you there or they could comment. So I have an example down here. This is a post about loaner armor, and this guy wanted to know, what do you need? So we were able to talk to him there, and he still interacts with us sometimes. And then since this is connected to Facebook, it's fairly easy for them to get to your Facebook and contact you there. And the reason I like this one, in addition to Facebook, not instead of, I think all these should be used together, is it's a little bit younger, and there are a lot of people who are not on Facebook who are on Instagram or are on Twitter or on other things. So it's important to be in a lot of different places. And also, like, the more visibility a business has, I just know from millennials because I've researched that market a lot, but millennials like to see what they're getting into. It's like the more places they can go to find that information, the more they like you, just right off the bat. And Instagram, I tend to think of it as a little bit less formal than Facebook. I joke around a lot more with people on Instagram than I do on Facebook, even if I don't know them as well, because it does tend to be younger and people like that. If anybody has...
What are like some pros and cons that you can think of for using Instagram?
Yeah, the cons.
We've already talked about some pros, but I guess
the pros. It is not the most, I don't want to say streamlined. It's not the easiest way to put out information. So like typically if you are trying to make an announcement via Instagram, it will actually be like announcement, go forward, canceled, like more details at the link in the bio. And then you would change the website in your bio to be like scagolfwars.org or whatever it is. And they would have to go there. So you can't post links in your posts. Like if you put them there, they'll just appear as text. They won't be clickable. So you always have to be rotating the link in your bio if that's what you want to do. And something else to be cautious of is alt text. So people who have a hard time seeing still use Instagram, and they use what's called alt text. And so it's just like a description of the image. So if you have the time, you should go fill in that alt text anytime you make a post. So it'd be like two heavy fighters or whatever. And then you want to be careful about posts with text in them. I do it sometimes as like a filler when I have nothing to post, but you'll see it doesn't get as much engagement. So just be aware that if you're posting lots of text-based things, you may not get as big of an audience. The pros, I feel like I've gone over. I don't know. I like Instagram. I think it's fun. what like the big main thing is like make sure whatever you're posting will get somebody to stop scrolling. So like when they get into the eternal scroll, that you've posted something that looks cool enough for them to stop and be like, oh, like what's this? What do I see here? And that's
so
good
you're
advice.
looking for like sexier type pictures, more eye-catching stuff.
Your well-composed pictures.
Yeah.
Instagram recently has gotten really into video, so they like when you post videos as well. I don't know. I think a lot of that's going to TikTok now, but it still like engages well, I guess, when I post videos. So I still post what I have. It can be as simple as like we had a banner out one day and it was really windy, so it was like the banner looked really good. So it doesn't have to be these like big grandiose things. Yeah, it's visual. Pick all your prettiest pictures.
I have a question. Since you're using an official account, you still have to have like model releases and photo releases and whatnot, right?
Yes. Technically, yes. But then like you get into some things where it's like the SCA as a governing body now will repost things that just have the hashtag like repost my SCA. So I guess that's a gray area, and that we're assuming that like if another account has posted it, that they have their releases and that we can repost them. Like if the bot is doing it, then we can do it, and that's the assumption I've been operating under.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, a lot of like the pictures I post and stuff are mine because then I don't have to worry about getting photographer releases, but that's just because I'm lazy.
So does yours then feed into the baronies as well? Like through the hashtags, or how does that work?
My Katie Gilroy like personal profile is private, so you can't see it.
Gotcha.
But I like have a camera that I have taken to events, and I will post those on behalf of the barony.
Cool.
And I don't credit myself because I run the social media, so it feels a bit like tooting my own horn. But if I post somebody else's stuff, I always credit them.
That's cool. So what would you tell people that haven't done this before and want to get started? Like, what's the best way, in your opinion, for them to get started using Instagram for an SCA group?
Just do it. Just make it. A lot of it is just trial and error. So like things that have worked for me with like my cosplay account didn't work as well with the Steps account, and vice versa. I've had a lot of different Instagrams that I just like played with them and saw what worked and what didn't. And like, as long as you're not doing anything like super dramatic and like politically divisive, like you're not going to cause like a PR scandal as long as you have the releases. Like, it's not this like scary thing. I think a lot of people are like, social media is too much. And it's like, no, just post a picture like once every couple days. We're down to like once a week right now because I have no pictures.
Yeah.
And so even like I just go on people's Facebooks and I'll be like, can I use this? And they'll let me use it.
That's smart.
So yeah, collect, I guess, in terms of like when we have events and can actually collect content in order to have a productive Instagram, I would say have a couple of hashtags that you know you will always use. And then some additional ones. And then in addition to that, have like a content library that you can just go in and like all of this stuff is pre-approved. Like we have all the releases we need for it. So just building up that content library is usually the most difficult thing with getting started. Most people who start, Instagrams and stuff like that for organizations, nonprofits especially, don't really have anything to post by the time they get there. So just create a library for yourself.
Makes sense.
And make a clean profile picture.
Sounds good.
Also, when you have a business Facebook page, I know you log in with your personal profile and then you can like click the page and then post from that page. Does it work the same way on Instagram, or do you need an entirely different login?
It is its own account, but you can be logged into both at the same time. I will do my best to show you on my phone because that's how you have to do it, but I don't know how well the camera will pick it up. So like, here's my Instagram. You'll have to take my word for it. Nope. Okay, so when you go to your Instagram, in the bottom right of the screen, you'll see basically your little profile picture. So you can hold that down and it'll pull up all of the accounts that you have logged into. So all you need to do in order to get them, I have a bunch because I do this professionally, but to add your accounts, to add all of them, you have to have your own emails, like ours is set up with social media at steps whatever. So you set that up, but then you can be logged into both at the same time. So there's the 3-line menu up in the top right. You click that, you go to settings, and there will be like an account center and some login stuff, and you can set up whether you want multiple logins or like if I log into this one, it also gives me access to all of these. And that's called multi-account login. So you can set that up. You can connect it to the Facebook, which it should automatically ask you to do if you make a business account, but chance it doesn't, you can connect it there. And then after that, you can just hold on that profile picture and click around to whichever account you want to be in. And Twitter is the same. Actually, you can have multiple accounts on Twitter at the same time as well.
Okay, so when you transition to a different social media officer, since it's attached to the email address, it shouldn't be a big deal to give them the account at that point.
Yeah, you just give them the username and password.
Okay.
And they can log in on their own. It's not like Facebook where you have to like awkwardly friend this person and then transfer it, and then we can't figure out who's the admin.
Maureen, do you guys have a social media person right now in Wiesenfeuer?
No.
I'm just asking. I'm not judging. Just asking. I was just curious.
Been trying.
I didn't know who it was.
Been trying.
Cool.
No, we don't. I've been trying, but everybody just looks at me funny and accuses me of calling them old when I suggest we need a social media person.
Hey, all I'm saying is
that's what I get. All the officers are like, "Are you calling us old? Or are you saying we can't have social media?" And I'm like, "It just
you need a dedicated person."
Job.
Yeah, it's not that we can't.
Not saying y'all are old.
Like the social media officer is not even on its own warrant. It's on the Seneschal's warrant.
Right.
And then I had to go get my own deputies because I had too much work to do. Like on the social media, I couldn't do it all.
It's a lot of work. It really is.
So
yeah.
I got someone to do our Twitter and maybe a TikTok if we're feeling that.
Awesome.
We'll see. I think we're going to wait for events to start up before we do that one. But
yeah, because it would be hard to get content.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a very slow adopter, but the nice thing about social media is like you can Google anything. So even at work, I'll still like update myself on best practices every day because it's super easy just to be like Instagram best practices 2020, and it'll tell you exactly what to do. It'll be like 3 different.
Smart.
So Sprout, Hootsuite, and HubSpot all usually have really good articles that you'll find like when you Google them.
Okay. Awesome.
Instagram, I don't. If it's here, I haven't seen it. It doesn't have like a trending thing. So like on Twitter, you can see what's trending and then like piggyback off those hashtags.
Oh, nice.
Instagram, it's a little bit harder because I'm just kind of guessing. But like when you put in a hashtag, it'll show you how many people use it. So you can pick a good mix of like, this one has 1 million people using it, and this one's like kind of just the Scadians.
Yeah.
And dogs always get more likes. That's what I've learned across every industry.
I believe that.
Yeah. I mean, I totally use my dog for likes, regardless of where I'm working.
Yeah, I saw your picture when you were scrolling through of her with the ruff. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, that one got reposted by the main SCA account.
Nice.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I can die happy now. She's been on the SCA Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think this is like a big thing that like people have to upgrade all the time and constantly be posting, but it's definitely nice to have. It makes your group look a little less defunct, especially given that most of our websites are super old looking, like they were built in 1990 and then never touched. um,
Yeah.
so
it's
nice to just be like,
yes,
yes, we're real. We post things. And I'm still even like I only just started doing this for the SCA recently, so I'm still trying to figure out like the best way to reach people on it, because it's not going to be the same as Facebook, and it's not going to be Twitter, and even like it's not going to be Reddit. Like I've started trying to reach out to people on Reddit, so the internet is your oyster.
True story.
Yeah,
they were going to be recruiting more and more, I think, with
I hope so.
COVID stuff. And then even when that's gone, I mean, it's how, like you said earlier, the younger generation finds out about things. So
yeah, I'm making a bigger push right now. So I was browsing through Reddit, as you do. There's an SCA subreddit. If anyone's watching this later and they don't know what Reddit is, it's the front page of the internet. It's kind of like a forum where all these people can talk and you can ask questions and stuff. Someone had been like, oh, how do I do this? And a Scadian responded and said like, oh, just go to your group's Facebook. And they were like, well, I don't have a Facebook. After that, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna make another big push to like get on some other stuff. So after that, I had our web minister like add a few things to the website and like got more into our Instagram and our Twitter. Like Facebook is super busy. We don't need to discount it. Like it's not dying. People still have Facebook, but just use other things in addition to it.
Now, do you guys use your website like as the hub that gets people out to where they want to go? I've heard a couple of people say that they use the website like as the launch page for their Twitter, their Instagram, their Facebook, all of that.
I have been trying, so I'll show you what Steps did.
Okay.
So after that, I saw that person. I was like, oh, I don't have Facebook. I posted my own question and said, like, what was the hardest thing for you that stopped you from joining the SCA or that made it hard to join? And then just like in that and outside of that, I've heard people be like, well, the calendar is not updated. And like, especially now with COVID, we can't tell where there's practices.
Right.
So I had our web minister add our Twitter feed to the front page. And WordPress integrates really well with Twitter. So he said this was super easy. I don't design websites. I just do the social media. So now like if we're having practice, our Twitter deputy will just post like practice tonight, 7:00 here. Or if it rains, they can be like practice rained out, don't show up. Right. Then we also have a calendar.
Awesome.
So, but this is like, it's absurd to think that our web minister is going to get on every single day and like update these whether or not they're happening.
Yeah.
Which is why I wanted the Twitter.
No, that's smart. That makes sense. Because I know we post a lot of times to our Facebook groups and pages, hey, practice is canceled or whatever. But if they're a new person, they probably haven't even joined that yet. So if it's on our website in a format like that, that'd be a good way to get that message out there.
Yeah, I am not sure how to do that, but you can email the Steps web minister. I'm sure he can give you a tutorial.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I just trust him. He seems like he knows what he's doing. Every time I ask him for something, 5 minutes later, he's like, done. This is great.
That's always helpful. That's definitely nice.
Yeah, apparently Facebook made it really hard to integrate because they want you to stay on Facebook. So it's harder to like have that up there. But he's like, no, Twitter is very easy. I will do this in 30 seconds. So if you don't have a Twitter, also look into that.
Okay.
And then on my actual job that I do mundanely, we have our Instagram feed. But that was put there before I got there, so I did not put that there. But now that I'm maintaining the website, I think it's like a pretty simple plugin. So I think you can integrate your Instagram as well on your website and have that feed there for people to see.
Okay. Definitely things to check into.
Yeah. WordPress has a lot of fun features. I just don't know what they all are.
Right. Yeah. same, because that's my husband does that stuff, not me.
People think that advertising and web design are the same, and I'm like, that's a completely different 4-year degree. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
Pretty easy though. I mean, I had never done anything with websites, but when I built the youth combat website, when I got permission to, I was still Kingdom Youth Marshal. It was really not that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, WordPress is nice.
Tool.
There were a few things at the end that I wanted that I knew were possible because I had seen them on other parts of the Marshallet page, but I couldn't figure it out. So I just like made a little text box. I was like, this is what I want here. And then when I told John that I was done, the Kingdom Webmaster John, not my husband, they came back and were like, so I removed your snarky commentary and replaced it with what you wanted. And I was like, I tried real hard, okay? Real hard.
I did my best. Yeah, there are some parts of WordPress that are really intuitive, and then some parts where it's like in Word when you accidentally move a picture and then everything like shifts. Mm-hmm. This is not what I wanted. Mm-hmm. Once you get it mostly built, it's like easy to update, but I leave that to Hicken. I don't do that. That's like people are like, well, the SMO should be under the web minister, or like the SMO should be under this thing. And I'm like, the SMO needs to work with all of your officers because they're supposed to promote everything that everybody's doing. So
right.
The seneschal seems fine, especially because everything that you're saying essentially is an official announcement from your group. So
definitely.
I'm lucky our seneschal is a lawyer, so she can be like, don't say that. And I'm pretty good at PR on my own, but sometimes. Oh yeah, and then all the regular social media stuff, like don't post anything stupid, review the SCA social media policy.
Yep. Be politically correct, guys. You have to have the right kind of person to do that job, because I know people that I'm going, no.
Yeah, we've had some issues here and there, and it's like, you're like, I just don't put a statement out. We're going to just ignore this, versus sometimes you have to deal with it. And at that point, I'm like, all right, the Baron and Baroness can like write this missive. Like, I'm not writing this.
Yep.
And then
you guys write it, or the seneschal can write it, and I'll post it.
Yeah. The worst part of that is
definitely within their job.
I was like the closest person to them that has public relations training. It's like they wrote it, and then still they sent it to me, and they were like, all right, PR and advertising, review this.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is good. You guys have a good team going there for sure.
It's a good time. We are happy to help.
Awesome.
I thought of another question.
Yeah.
How easy is it to make sure you're posting to the correct account when you have multiple accounts going? Like, to make sure you're not posting something that you meant to post to your personal account, this account by accident. Like, is that an easy mistake to make, or are there a bunch of steps you have to get through to make sure that you're using the right one?
I mean, to start with, like when you open Instagram, it'll go to the feed of like whatever account that you're in. So like when I see pictures from like my real life friends, I'm like, I am on my personal one, versus like it's all label stuff. I'm like, okay, that's the SCA one. But also I'm going through it right now because this is a recent update. So I'm looking at it as I talk you through it. Once you like pick your picture and you go and you like apply the filter, so that's 3 clicks through next. You write your caption, and then it will, if you go down right below where it says add location, it says post to other accounts, and you can flip the switches on which account you want it to post on. So
that should be a good red flag of, hey, I'm not on the right one. Yeah, that's good.
So just double check. An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. That's what I was taught.
Story.
Do you use the official account to follow anything other than like the main SCA account or the main OnCR account? Do you follow other things as well, or with the main account? Or I mean, with the Steps account?
Yeah, I'm really bad about following people. Like, I know that you're supposed to like follow a lot of people. I always just forget to do it. because I'm too focused on like posting and like what hashtags do I want, which is why it's a good idea to have 2 social media people. So our Instagram is largely SCA accounts, like all the different kingdoms, some other baronies that I know have stuff. We do a lot with Bringuad, because I'm friends with their SMO. So for a while we were like being shysty back and forth. So we interacted with them a lot. We've got a Renaissance festival here in Dallas, so we follow them. I follow Medieval Times Dallas. And then there's a hockey team who we did a really successful demo with. It's like I followed them so we can tag each other. On the Twitter, we are a little bit better about who we follow. So we follow like the city of Dallas, the city of Plano, like all of those that are in our zip codes. So probably not a terrible idea to go ahead and follow the cities that you're a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, following people's a great way to get them to follow you back. So like anything that you see that's kind of a medieval enthusiast, I'd say just like follow them.
Yeah.
Like follow for follow.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So yes, follow whoever you want within reason. I tend to stay away from any political figures or like famous movie stars that have like nothing to do with any type of reenactment or anything like that.
Makes sense.
Yes. Anything else? You guys can also hit me up on Facebook after this. I know a lot of it's like, I don't know my questions until I try to actually do this.
Right, exactly. I think I'm good. Maureen, do you have other questions?
No.
You can message me.
So.
I'm around.
No.
There's also one last feature I want to talk about, which is Instagram stories, which is stuff that you post that's like there for 24 hours and then it goes away. Or you can opt to keep it on there, and that's super good for like events. So like if you're at Crown Tournament, you can use it to like document stuff that's like, I don't want to make a whole post for this, but it's like still neat to see. It's the same thing as Facebook stories. You actually have the option to post to both whenever you post one.
Cool. That's awesome.
So
that's neat.
Yeah, whenever events start again, we'll try to live document some of those things with Instagram stories.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you, ma'am, for sharing all your knowledge with us, because this is a whole
Thanks for having me.
New thing for me.
Yeah, I know it's all a bit crazy, so you can find me on Facebook at Katie Gilroy, and I am usually available all the time because my job is to be on Facebook. So
awesome. Well, thank you.
All right.
And everybody enjoy the rest of the evening, and we will talk again soon, I'm sure.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.